Hey guys, welcome back to the continuation part in phone call scenario. So we'll do this project continuation. The whatever we have stopped in the previous video, we're going to look into the continuation part. So do check this video and as well as if you haven't checked the previous video, then do check the video and then come back here so that you can get some more clarity, like what we actually where we actually stopped in the previous video and then now what we're actually doing it. So yeah, that's it. So watch a video we actually getting from a random generating a random number, so that's what we actually storing inside a time. So for example, the random number is generating a 5 seconds, then it's going to convert into milliseconds like a 5000, and the 5000 is going to store it inside the time. So and then this is going to be replaced by 5000, and then start time is nothing but going to call the function from a clock, and then we are storing inside the start time, and is there nothing but a clock underscore t is nothing but a data type. uh, this actually included in this particular what this actually does, and everything is included in this particular header file. So commonly we don't use it frequently when we actually build this kind of projects. Maybe it will require, but commonly we generally we don't use it, and so that's what I don't know. So that's the reason. Maybe if you haven't used that function, maybe it's going to be little confusing for you, I guess. So you can assume it like a data type. It's a kind of it acts as a kind of data type. So what are the clock function generate that is going to be stored inside the start time. So that's what actually happening here. And then we are adding start time plus time, and then we are checking the comparison here. And then while loop ends, we're not even doing anything inside the while loop. We're uh, just passing our time from, for example, if you're starting from 0, then we're actually going up to 5 seconds. So that's what actually doing here. So that's what we're actually doing here. So so we are doing in that way. I mean, by checking a getter condition, so that you're going to be keep on checking it 5,000 times. So 5,000 nothing but when it convert into seconds, it's going to be 5 seconds. So that's what I actually doing here to delay, make a delay. So once it is of as I actually, it's always not a 5 seconds. It will generate from between 1 to 10. I'm just giving a for a better understanding. I'm just taking an example and then I'm just saying it. And once you call this printing a calling, and then you can delay for 5 seconds, and then you can also print in this ringing here. Once you done it ringing here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sound here, like when you actually while you're ringing, when it comes to your phone, what are you going to do when you connect your call? And when your call started ringing, you'll get some sound like your dial sound, right? You'll get some ring sound, something. I don't know, I don't want to sing it like that. Yeah, so you get some kind of sound, right? So that kind of sound I want to generate here. uh, yeah, so for that I'm going to create a sound function. It's a user defined function I'm going to create by myself. It's not actually included in C program. I don't know whether it's included or not, but I'm just using it. I want to create it by yeah, I'm going to create it in this way. User defined function. So yeah, so here what I'm going to do is, inside this I'm going to declare a variable and initializing with the time here. Time here 0. And then now what I'm going to do, time equals to, I'm going to store inside a time the random time. So this is what, so see, we already created this random time, and again we are reusing the particular function, and we are not even writing it again and again, the same functionality that we already mentioned it, and we're just creating it. So this is also one of the reason why we actually use functions. So this is the necessary of using functions. So we don't need to rewrite the code again and again. That will be a very lengthy code. And so this way we can actually decrease our lines of code. So yeah, this is what one of the example. So you can find it out. So now what I'm going to do is beep. So this is a beep function. So what we mean by beep? Actually, for beep, to actually work with this function, we need to include one more header file, that is also header file. So win windows.h is a header file that you have to include to run that particular sorry, is not, there is no end here. Yeah, to if you we want to actually include this particular header file, if you want to use that particular beep function. So what is mean by beep function is you're going to generate a beep sound. So in this, like it's going to take a two parameters here. One is frequency, how much frequency you want for sound. So let me give a frequency as 467, and then the second parameter as you have to mention the time. I mean, how much of time you want to get that particular, you want to get that particular time of that particular seconds you want to generate that sound, or whatever it may be. Even for example, that's the reason I have mentioned is a random time, because sometimes maybe some people answer call very quickly, or some maybe it will happen some 10 seconds or 20 seconds, so that I don't want hard coded it, or I don't want to use some my own numbers. So that's the reason every time I'm just generating a random numbers. So I don't want to give anything. So the random number keep on generating a random numbers, keep on every time going to generate within this particular loop. So I don't want to give any kind of such thing. So that's what I have mentioned here. Uh, Here I'm going to mention beep comma time here. So that's what we're actually generating the sound, the beep sound. So now we can actually use this particular sound function. And then now once we done with the sound function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out once the sound is ends, it automatically going to connect that person, right? Isn't it? So I'm going to generate like connected call, connected. Maybe we can say connected like this, and also we can also say like um, hello. Uh, Hello, we can say hello, right? We generally, when you call some person connected, so you just hello. Say hello or hi, anything. You can just mention anything. So I'm just mentioning hello. And also, I'm going to use a backward slash n here to get in a new line. So now what I'm going to do is, so once we actually connected the call, you may also require some end the call. I want to end the call or whatever. Maybe if you want to end the call, then you have to came out of the function. I mean, came out of this phone call. Then what are you going to do? So here I'm going to ask a user to whether he or she want to end the call, or whether he want to continue, or so that's what I just want to do here. To do that, actually I'm going to create one more function, that is to get an input from the user, like yes or no inputs, so that we actually explore it, right? So here what I'm going to do is character. Its return type is character, because yes or no is y, and no n we are actually printing out, because we haven't done with strings, so I don't want to explore strings right away. So we just continue with characters. So input to to end the call here. So I'm going to use this particular function here. And then here what I'm going to do is, here one thing we have to remember here, there is I'm going to use a printf function here. In the call, here, and then backwards slash n, and then here I'm going to create a new variable with the character here. Character here, character input. And then here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scanf function to actually store it inside a input here. So I'm going to use a percentage c here for we actually getting input from the character input. So I don't want, so we're not going to use a percentage here or something else, because we are just getting from the character. So we have to use a percentage c, the relevant forward specifier we have to use to store a data, and then input I'm going to do. So here what I'm going to do is return input. So we're actually going to return the input like once we took the input from the user, we actually call, you want to whether you want to end the call or not, and input and the percentage she here and then percentage input here. So that's what we're actually doing here. That's what I'm actually doing. Yeah, I actually, so yeah, let me actually before writing here, let me comment it out, and then it's actually I just want to show the difference why we actually using function. So let me write it here itself. So before actually writing there itself, let me write it here itself. Itself, I'm going to I'm going to delete this written thing. Yeah. So first here, after printing hello, and then we are just calling end the call or not, and then we are character, and then inputting take the character from it. So and once this once we done with it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use if and else conditions, so that if it is y, then we're going to generate else, we're going to generate something else. So that's what I actually want to do or recreate it. So let me give an if conditions, like if condition like input equals to, if within because we actually it's a character, so we have to use single quotes. So and then here we actually going to mention what are we want to print out. If it is y means yes, he want to end the colon. So I'm going to print call ended. I'm going to print in this thing maybe, and then if this is not the true condition, then I'm going to use else block. With the else block, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to mention is printf function. So printf function, I'm going to mention, what I'm going to mention is please in the call, um, I am about to die. So that's what I just mentioned, some kind of funny message here. Please end the call. I'm about to die. So when you actually continuously speak with someone else, then that's what the inner feeling of your phone. So I just mentioned that thing. So and then now what I'm going to do is, so that's what I have mentioned. But the thing is, like here you have to consider one thing here is this is y, we have mentioned yes or no, right? So if it is y, then we are actually ending call, and we're not even training out this thing. Okay, fine. But if it is else statement, what we actually have to do we actually only give this particular statement? No, right? Also, after this particular statement, we also have to again ask the user for the inputs, again ask the user for inputs, because once we done with it, maybe again the user may once you show this particular measure, maybe a user want to again end the call. So what are you going to do? Again you have to type the same code, right? Isn't it? Again you have to type the same code inside the else block. So you are writing the same code again and again. So this is what this not a good practice as a programmer. Do we really write this kind of things? So writing the hard code and this, like, really that's not a good thing to actually work on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new function with the name of input to the end the call. So everything I'm going to mention inside this particular function. And here what I'm going to do is return. I'm going to return the input. I'm going to return the input. So every time keep on when I call this particular function, I'm going to returning this particular thing. So I'm not need to do this hard coded thing. I'll just call this particular function. I'll just enjoy the functionality that I have already mentioned before. I'll just mention it. Before mentioning it, I'm going to store inside store. I'm going to store inside input here. the input, like the same thing. I'm going to mention the input here, like input. I'm going to mention input here, the variable same name, because we can actually use the same variable names. This is something different function, and this is a different function. So need to bother about writing the same variable names again and again, because the when you actually declare variables locally, then it's going to be executed only that particular function itself. That's the reason we're actually using this particular global variables to get we can use throughout our program. Even all the functions are going to be accept that such thing. So that's what we're actually doing here. So now I'm going to store inside this input variable for regarding the function. I'm going to call a particular function input to the end of the call. I'm going to call a particular function, whatever it's returning, I'm going to store it inside the input here. And then if the input is equals to y, then we're going to end the call. Else we're going to print this particular statement, and then again we're going to call that particular function. Maybe again user wants to check it again, or like maybe we can print it again, and again we can come it here, and then maybe we can do in this way. That's going to be better for the user as well. So whether he want to yes or no, maybe he can actually more, maybe even actually can change his mindset to do. Maybe we can do it in this way. So that's what I just mentioned in this particular thing way. So now once we done with it, what we actually going to do is, so we have done this in else block. So yeah, we have done this in this way. So now we have done this else block for call the function, and then input function, sound, delay, random time, all these things we already look into it. So let's me run up to now what we have discussed right now. So and then let's also print each and every line, how it actually works and everything. So I don't want to confuse you guys with all those things. So at a time. So let me run it before time. So yeah. So now what I'm going to do, dial a number. So now we got the dial pad has we showing the dial pad. We are printing a dial pad. Within a dial pad, what we actually getting it is. So within a dial pad, maybe it's so see actually when we have to correct this thing as well, because we are getting out of the boundary. And now it's asking me to enter a number. So I'm going to enter some random number, and then I'm going to print enter. So and then now I'm going to make a call. So I'm going to click on two here. So once we click on the two, we're actually not getting any output. Let's see what actually happening here. Yeah, actually here because of this comment, we are not getting the output. So let me remove the comment here first of all, and then I will add the comment here, because actually we are asking you to make a call, but we're not actually mention the call in a switch case. So let me add it now. So this is what sometimes will happen. So yeah, let me run the code. So yeah, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to press enter for a dial number. So I'm going to enter a dial pad. We got the dial pad, and it's also have to rectify it. Let me rectify it later. First, let me check whether the condition is satisfying or not. Now make a call. So now see. So we're getting some delay in after calling printing. We're getting some delay, right? So have you observed it? So now we're getting the ringing, and here also we're getting some delay. Like it's getting some beep sound as well. I don't know whether you guys able to hear that or not. Whether I don't know whether the system sound is recording or not. Yeah. So yeah, it's also getting a beep sound because we're actually using this particular beep function over here in our sound. We're also using a beep for that particular random time. We're generating it from random time. Yeah. So now it's asking me to enter. So after enter call, y and n it's showing me, and then again it's actually directly it's actually printing it out, and even sending call it asking me. So it's actually not exactly here. I have to ask it right. Actually, it's not actually asking me. So could you guys able to figure it out why it actually happening? So let me tell you why it actually happening. So here we have to add one more thing. So that's the reason I don't want to like if right away if I added the thing before actually showing the output, and then so that's the reason I just want to do that later once we actually run the output and then see, so that you're going to get 5 hey guys, thank you for watching the video, and the continuation part you're going to watch in the next video, so no need to worry. So do watch that video as well, so that you're going to get some more clarity about like the entire program going to be happen in that video as well. So do check that video as well. So thank you for watching. If you like my work, please do like, share, and subscribe to Co4Cos. And if you like this kind of projects, do let me know in the comment section, so that I can also make this kind of projects more and more in the coming videos as well. And even if you have any other ideas like this kind of things, then also do let me know in the comment section, so that I can also make those kind of ideas by picking those ideas, and then I'll make as a code format, and then I'll come up with the code. So yeah, if you have those kind of things, and also let me know in the comment section. Yeah, thank you for watching.